Okay, hello guys. Bearings, crankshaft bearings and crankshaft. Of course this is not new bearing because I'm just gonna show you how to do it. I'm not investing money in this engine like I said many times before. Bearing installation, you're gonna receive your new package of bearings, and they're gonna be main bearings for your crankshaft. The top bearings are different. There are like two pieces, one shell and another shell. The top part is different because there's a groove in the middle and two holes. So you want to install the bearing. It's pretty simple. Remember, there's a notch which fits that hole. There's nothing here, so you stick your finger like this and you just gently push it. That's it. You're gonna do all your bearings. You can't actually touch them with your fingers. What you do, just have your fingers or hands slightly oily, so these surfaces you just can't, you just avoid touching them with bare hands or anything. Lubricate them before you put the crankshaft on. I just lubricate the bearings with the cheapest oil I could get. You can use assembly lube or anything like that, but any oil cheap, doesn't matter. You can buy 1 liter of the cheapest oil just to do your rebuild. Then you can finish the job with your favorite oil or recommended oil. But for lubrication of these parts, you can use any oil. So that's what I did, and now I'm just gonna place the crankshaft. Okay, second part of the bearings. Again, this is not new bearing. Gonna go on bottom, on the main bearing caps. So same thing, two grooves which match that side of the bearing. You just gently push and you can put the cap on. Yeah, I haven't installed all the bearing caps and bolts because that's how you're gonna do when you receive your crankshaft from machine shop, when everything is checked and measured and grind to spec. But if you're doing this at home, uh, you don't have fancy machines and measuring equipment. How you can check if your crankshaft is good or any clearances on the crankshaft are good? How to do it without having special tools? You assuming, well, you know that your car is running good, there's no issues, no shavings in the oil, you just want to do piston rings. How to check that? Well, usually you need to have a micrometer, right, to check these clearances here. What's the actually size of the journals on the crankshaft? You're not probably equipped with that, or you don't know how to use it, because it takes time to learn how to use it, and you need to be sure you know what you're doing. If you don't know how to use it, you can use a Plastigauge. something like this. Pieces of plastic, small like wires or something like that. You place small piece of that on your journals. You put your caps on. You have to tighten this down to spec, then remove the cap and check. And I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna explain you more. As you can see, I have a piece of Plastigauge in here. What I need to do is just place the bearing cap with old bearing. Actually, you can't rotate your crankshaft during this procedure, otherwise the reading's not gonna be accurate. So now 20 Newton meters. Newton meters and 70 degrees of torque. Okay, after tightening this down, it's time to remove it and check the results. And we got some results. So this is how far the piece of Plastigauge was spread or crushed against the bearing. So now you can take, this side is in inches, this side is in millimeters. So imperial and metric, you just need to compare. We are just somewhere around here. So as you can see, the gap is around 38 thousandths of the millimeter. So this engine, these journals and these bearings are actually in spec, because for this engine M52TU M54, I think many older straight six engines have the same clearances or very close. So for this engine, the minimum, also if you're gonna buy new bearings, there should be some kind of manual for your clearances. So the minimum clearance is 23, I think around 23 thousandths of mil, and the maximum tolerance is up to, I think, 65 or even more. So if you are somewhere like here, 38, so you're just like near a middle. So there's another tip now. As you can see, well, we checked the old bearing like this. Okay, we checked the old bearing, which is quite, it's not perfect, it's scratched and it's not looking good, but the clearances are fine. So now I'm gonna give you a good tip. That's what I did. That's how it worked on my engine. The journals were fine. the bearings wasn't looking like great new, because the car was 125,000 miles, similar to this engine 130. What I did, I ordered standard bearing sizes. However, the bearing sizes had a small difference to original BMW ones, because the original bearings on the crankshaft, the standard size is 60 mil dead, 60.00. The bearings I ordered, they were 59.990, so there was 10 thousandths of the difference. So if you have so imagine now you have with good crankshaft, that's an indication of good crankshaft, you don't have a scoring, just the bearings doesn't look great. So with this setup you are here 38 thousandths. I don't know if the camera can pick this up. You are 38 thousandths, right? So if you're buying bearings which are only 10,000 smaller, so you're gonna 10,000 tighter, so well, this one, sorry, that's the Conrad, so you're gonna get 28 thousandths. So it's very close to stock engine, which is 23, I think. So you don't have to machine that. Well, you can if you discover there's something wrong in one of the journals. You need to check one of them, each one of them, step by step, same as connecting rods. But that's the procedure that's what I did to my engine. Everything was looking fine. I changed the bearings with smaller difference in tolerance, and it came up also same like this one, very close to original. So that's the idea. That's a tip from me if you want to save money. However, you need to check each of them. Another tip, if there's gonna be difference, for example, this one 38 and this one's gonna be 48 and this one's gonna be 28. So if you want to be like in the middle of these clearances, on the end you can just swap the bearings, because that one is tight and this one is loose. This one got bigger clearance, this one got smaller clearance, so you can swap the bearings and check the clearances with Plastigauge again. If they gonna become more well, closer to 38, that's how you're gonna leave it and the engine gonna be fine. So that's a few tips from me. And when you finish with that, when you check all your clearances, you have to remove the residue after that Plastigauge with cloth, whatever solvent. Then again, lubricate all of these journals, put the caps on, follow the procedure of tightening, which is for these bolts, main bearing caps bolts, is now important, 20 Newton meters, all of them, and then 70-degree angle of torque. So that's the main bearing caps. With connecting rods I'm gonna show you in another video. Okay guys, so after tightening all the bearings, the main bearings, golden rule, you have to be able to crank the crankshaft by hand. If you can't do that, you have to do it again. You have to take everything apart and check where you did wrong. If you are able to crank it by hand, no problem, you can proceed and do pistons.